भाइयों और बहनों, राष्ट्रपति जी ने आपातकाल की घोषणा की है।
With this sentence, the darkest night of Indian democracy began. India, which gave the philosophy of democracy to the world in the form of the Republic of Vaishali centuries before Rome, there at midnight on 25th June 1975, the soul of democracy was crushed. This was India, where Lord Rama chose Vanvas over coronation, where Buddha chose sannyas, not empire, where power was considered a means of service, not an end. But in this same India, when a court held Prime Minister Indira Gandhi guilty of electoral corruption and declared her ineligible for office, she, without taking the Council of Ministers into confidence, strangled the constitution and democracy to save her chair and imposed emergency on the country. The declaration of emergency was the result of the frustration of losing power. It was not just an emergency, it was the beginning of Indra Tantra. Due to the bad policies of the Congress, the country was facing a serious economic crisis, inflation, corruption, and unemployment since 1969. Students, workers, and railway employees were preparing for a big movement in the country against this bad governance. Meanwhile, Shri Jai Prakash Narayan ji called for Sampoorna Kranti, which transformed the political movement into a mass movement. This was the moment when power faced an open challenge from the people for the first time, and the walls of power in Delhi started shaking. And then on 12th June 1975 came that historic decision when in the case of Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narayan, the Allahabad High Court held Indira Gandhi guilty of misuse of government machinery and cancelled her election and also barred her from contesting elections for 6 years. This was the moment when democracy and dictatorship stood face to face. Indira Gandhi chose the path to end democracy. The emergency was not just a misuse of a constitutional provision, it was the murder of democracy. It was the murder of the constitution made by Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji. It was an insult to the freedom for which millions of people had sacrificed everything. During the emergency, democracy in India was taken over by the Indira Gandhi government and a harsh wave of oppression was launched against the opposition. As soon as the emergency was imposed, opposition leaders across the country were arrested and jailed overnight. Shri Jai Prakash Narayan ji, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, Shri L.K. Advani ji, Shri George Fernandez ji were all sent to jail without trial or warrant. More than 1 lakh citizens were imprisoned under laws like MISA and DIR. During this period, dozens of people died in jails while fighting the Congress dictatorship. Many big opposition leaders became seriously ill due to being in jail for many months. Lok Nayak Jai Prakash Narayan ji's kidneys got damaged, due to which he eventually died. Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji's health also deteriorated in jail, due to which he also had to be hospitalized for many months. During the emergency, Shri Rajnath Singh ji was also imprisoned for many months. Meanwhile, even when his mother passed away, he was not granted bail to attend the funeral. The judiciary, which is supposed to protect justice, became the target of a cruel plan to control the justice system itself. When the prisoners sought justice, even the Supreme Court bowed down to power. In the ADM Jabalpur case, 4 out of 5 judges agreed that citizens do not have the right to life and liberty during the emergency. Only one judge, H.R. Khanna, opposed it and said, if there is no right to life and liberty, then what is the meaning of the other rights? As a result, he was not made the Chief Justice despite being senior. Whereas in 1973, when the decision was given in favor of the government in the Keshav Nanda Bharti case, Indira Gandhi broke the tradition of seniority and rewarded A.N. Rai by making him the CJI. At the same time, the voice of the media was forcefully shut down as censorship blocked the press after the emergency was declared. The electricity of the press offices on Bahadur Shah Zafar Marg in Delhi was cut off at midnight so that no newspaper could print news of the emergency the next morning. Along with this, censorship was imposed on the media all over the country, under which newspapers had to print every material with the permission of the government. Journalists were intimidated and threatened. The Press Council of India was dissolved. Newspapers like the Indian Express and the Statesman printed front pages blank in protest against this dictatorship. The soul of the nation, the Constitution, was also attacked as its importance was reduced for political gains. In a period of emergency, the government tried to weaken the democratic institutions and make power autocratic by making several amendments to the Constitution. Under the 38th Amendment in 1975, the decisions of the President and the Council of Ministers were taken out of judicial review, so that no legal questions could be raised on the decisions of the government. After this, in the 39th Amendment, the illegal election of Indira Gandhi was exempted from court scrutiny, and in a way, the post of Prime Minister was placed above the law. The 40th Amendment gave the government complete control over land and natural resources, thereby limiting the property rights of citizens and the role of courts. Through the 41st Amendment in 1976, the service period of the officers of the Public Service Commissions was increased so that the government could keep its loyal officers in office for 2 additional years. This was against the principles of fair administration. Finally, the 42nd Amendment gave unlimited powers to the executive, attacked the autonomy of the judiciary, and limited the basic rights of citizens. This amendment was the biggest example of legitimizing the dictatorial tendency of the emergency. Schools and colleges, once respected as places of learning, were also affected. Students across the country suffered cruel treatment under the Indira Gandhi government. During the emergency, gruesome atrocities were committed against students, teachers, farmers, and ordinary citizens across the country. In states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka, protesters were beaten with sticks, hung upside down, and subjected to inhumane torture like the aeroplane torture. Engineering student P. Rajan was taken away by the police and never returned. Student leaders Ravi, Shrikant, Uday Shankar, Sesha, Hemant, and Jasbir Singh were tortured with hot wax, chilies, poisonous insects, and boots. In Andhra Pradesh, students were beaten like animals, pregnant women were tied in chains, and 200 teachers are arrested in a single day in Delhi University. In Jodhpur, people were humiliated by being made to wear placards that read "Hum Gaddar Hai." In Odisha, students of class 9th and 10th were jailed for 5 months. Dissenting writings and ideas were banned in colleges and universities. This period became an example of brutal repression and fear in India's democratic history. In the name of population control, the government crossed all limits by starting a campaign of forced sterilizations. Poor people were caught and operations were conducted on them, as if the government's aim was to eliminate the poor and not poverty. During this period, more than 1 crore people were forcibly sterilized, due to which more than 2,000 people died. Hundreds of people were killed in Turkman Gate in the name of removing encroachment, and in Muzaffarnagar in the name of sterilization. Still, even in those dark times, a few brave people kept the light of democracy burning. As fear gripped the nation, some courageous youth carried democracy's torch. RSS Pracharak Shri Narendra Modi ji carried the banned literature to the people by train during the emergency. Modi ji continued the movement during the emergency by changing his disguise and avoiding the police. He visited different parts of Gujarat in disguises like Batuk Bhai and Swamiji. Once, he disguised himself as Swamiji to meet the leaders imprisoned in Bhujangar jail and held a secret meeting there for an hour. During the emergency, Modi ji adopted innovative methods for distributing literature. He placed literature in barber shops so that people could come there and read it. Apart from this, he distributed this material in rural areas through saints and religious leaders. He compiled his experiences during the emergency in a book titled Sangharsha Ma Gujarat. This book was written by him in 23 days, entirely from memory. At the same time, NRIs and organizations like Indians for Democracy and Friends of India Society International raised their voice against dictatorship in India at the international level. Criticisms by media organizations like Time magazine increased global pressure on the Indira government. Writers and artists also stood up, using their words and art to fight against injustice. During the emergency, not only politicians but also writers, poets, journalists and artists rose against the government. Panishwar Nath Renu and Shivram Karant returned their awards. Snehalata Reddy died in jail, and Kishore Kumar's songs were banned. About 26 social and political organizations, including the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, were banned.
लोक शक्ति की लहर ने लोकतंत्र की हत्या करने वालों को इतिहास के कूड़ेदान में फेंक दिया है.
When all legal ways of getting justice were closed, it was the people who took charge and brought justice through their vote in the next election. Indira Gandhi was badly defeated in the historic Lok Sabha elections of 1977. By electing the Janata Party, the people gave a clear message that now there will be democracy and not dictatorship. To remember the sacrifice and struggle of those who sacrificed everything to save the temple of democracy, the Modi government declared June 25th as Samvidhan Hatya Divas. But perhaps the most serious truth is the Congress's way of thinking, which puts power and family above democracy. Today, the Congress talks about constitution, the judiciary, freedom of the press, and impartiality of institutions. The same Congress has trampled all these during the emergency. Trampled the constitution, strangled the press, abolished the autonomy of the court, misused the agencies, and crushed the opposition. The emergency taught the country that democracy has to be kept alive through sacrifices. Emergency was not just a political chapter. It is a warning that the danger to India's democracy is still not over, because even then, the character of Congress was undemocratic, and even today for Congress, one family is bigger than the country. And as long as this mentality remains, there will be a danger to the country's democracy.
पार्टी कितना भी बड़ा हो मगर देश से बड़ा नहीं हो सकता। कोई दल कितना भी शक्तिशाली हो मगर 62 करोड़ जनता से अधिक शक्ति नहीं रख सकता। व्यक्ति आएंगे चले जाएंगे, पार्टियां बनेंगी बिगड़ेंगी, नई पार्टियां जन्मेंगी, सरकारें कायम होंगी बदलेंगी, मगर कश्मीर से लेकर कन्याकुमारी तक फैला हुआ भारत अपनी सनातन संस्कृति के साथ आधुनिकता का वर्ण करने के लिए अमरकाल तक इस तीर्थ यात्रा में चलता रहेगा।